after we did water break, we had a little visit. The next part of practice would be individual periods. Depending on the number of coaches you have, break your practice down. Now, I always tried to have at least 5 or 6 coaches, so I'd have a D-line coach, an O-line. I was very fortunate. You do that long enough, you get people that will help you. If you don't, structure your practices accordingly. One of the line coach, because of principles, can teach both O and D line. I would say this. In your scheduling process, determine what you're doing today and make sure everything you do follows that. So if we're working on 22 cut, the play we showed, then everything your line coach is teaching should be about run blocking. If you look over there, and today we're running 22 cut, and he's working pass blocking, you wasted a period. It has nothing to do with the play you're doing today. Does that make sense? That's what I talk about when you come to the field ready to coach. It's not just you. Have those assistants know what you're doing. So we're working 22 cut. So that said, I would bring John back. John was one of the best O-line coaches I had to play against. Him and his crab blocking drove me crazy. But his little kids were well coached. They were well done. So we would break into various ones. I'm going to let him show you what a good line coach would do.
These are about 2 or 3 different O-line drills that we used to do, and all those, like I say, we stole from the BSU camps. A couple things to watch for in your 9-year-old kids. When you get the game, I guarantee about second quarter, you're going to look after, you're going to see your offensive line do this. Okay? And that's just their nature. So the one thing you drill on them is about staying low. Now, a couple drills that we did, I can't remember if this was a Strasser or whatnot. But basically, you got to teach the 9-year-olds how to fire out their hips. So just get them down, hold the whistle, and just arch their back, and hit the back. Okay? Time and time again. Fire their hips, arch their back. Get them to fire out. Hands are real important. One of the guys you mentioned, I think, one of the things as a coach you use is as many word pictures, little slogans that you say. Those will stick in the kid's mind. When we talk offensive line, we talk about elbows in, thumbs up. Grabbing that breastplate. Everything you do, elbows in, thumbs up. Just reiterate that time and time and time again. So we would come in and we would do the firing of the hips drill. Then you're going to have to teach them how to block on the dummy.
I got to say something because you're going to get bit by that. He just said firing of the hips. Jaron said run off the hips. Anybody here that thinks that he should stay away from things like pelvic thrusts and all those things, and I'm sure if you guys played, got all sorts of wonderful ways to describe how you should do things. Hips is a great solution at this age.
Well, and I think like Brent Myers, the O-line coach, talk about word pictures. And when they talk to college kids, when they taught this, they have another word picture they use for college kids. So the 9-year-olds don't use that. Okay. So we would do that drill. Then simply, it's a matter of getting the kids in a good stance. Whether it's O-line, D-line, we can hit stance later. You got different kids, different body sizes. Okay? You got some kids that I would get them down in a good 3-point, what I thought was a good 3-point stance. Their head's about ready to explode because they have no neck. They're just that their bodies haven't grown and their helmet's about ready to explode. They've got to get in a good athletic position, okay? And their stance may change over the years, when they're 9 to where they're 12. But, I mean, you basically want a good stance, good position, and a good 3-point stance, hands off. When you hit the bag, what we would stress to them, basically 2 things. I mean, Jaron talked about, he likes to block on the man, which is fine. Other coaches like to block to the hole. But basically, you're trying to tell his kid to take this guy one way or the other. Right? And it may depend upon which way that guy's knife. What you want to do is teach them is once again we get back to what we taught here. Which foot are you stepping with first? Doesn't matter. Could be real important. Stance. Step. This time we're going to teach them to step with the right foot first. The other thing we talk word picture again. Chest to thigh. Teaches them to get low. Low man wins. Okay? It's all about leverage. You got little kids, you got to get low. So we're here, hands in the holsters. Okay? Chest here, and then boom. Hit. And you just take it a step at a time. Maybe you take the whistle and you say, you're down the stance, and you go 1, 2. Break it down piece by piece. Maybe you only work on one piece today. Maybe you work on two pieces. Now, once you get them there, boom, boom. Other thing that 9-year-olds do, 10-year-olds do, seniors in high school do. Feet. We used to talk about cement shoes. The kids would get cement shoes. They would hit, the guy would lose, and they would go this. Okay? And they would just, it's like their feet were in cement. They've got to move their feet. They've got to move their hips again. Okay? If I'm trying to block, the hole is here. If I teach him fire out and to move his hips and drive out, half of blocking is getting in somebody's way. Okay? And if you're 60 pounds trying to block a bigger guy, you've got to have positioning, leverage. But you get in the way, now that guy's got a chance to run. So, you take a real simple drill of hitting a dummy, break it down into pieces. Can't do it, you should do it every day. Every day in practice, do a little bit of hitting. Now, is there anybody on your team that shouldn't be doing this? Everybody, at some point, you only have how many players you have. You got guys that are just going to be specialists. I always like, you don't have enough players. I like every person on the team to have a little bit idea of how to play every position. Because you don't know how their body's going to change over the next